Welcome everyone. This is the training and AutoML community meeting on 10th of March. I think we will start with AutoML. Firstly, it will be pretty fast because we have it. Let me just share my screen.
考全英语的，我要放弃了。
全英语的。
哎，没。
I think it will be great if you can mute yourself, Rosie. Is it yours?
Henry, can you mute all?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
So, yep.
AutoML.
Yep, I think it will be. If you just want to speak, just please leave in the chat. Yep, so the first step that I want to discuss about the PyTorch examples. So basically, I think right now it's working fine. What actually we did, we changed the PyTorch image to the our MXNet image. So the question is here, do we want to actually merge all of the trials images under a KTIP repo? What do you think? Like, for example, what we can do with TF, MNIST example, I don't know, or any other examples, because I think it makes sense to actually maintain the versioning under the same repo for each trial image. Do you have any concerns here, Gaucho? I don't
know. Do you mean that we are the examples don't work, so you want to remove some examples from the KTIP repository?
Oh, actually, no. Actually, I want to add some examples to KTIP repository, like because I added the PyTorch example, and also like what about TF operator example? It might make sense. Yeah. So I don't know, because I think it will be easier for us to maintain them instead of like just taking the images from other repositories.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do we, if we have the bandwidth to maintain so many examples in KTIP, as you know, I think PyTorch, I'm wondering why PyTorch examples don't work in KTIP.
Yeah, because before that, I just had some problems with PyTorch, I think vision, like torch vision, and it should be fixed, just a simple like part of the scripts. But I mean, right now, yeah, we fixed this example, but in the future time, like what we can do to maintain them, because right now some of the trial images are stored not in the under KTIP repo, they stored like in TF operator and also PyTorch operator MPI. I don't know. I think it depends on the repository. So if repository has a lot of like active contributors, we will not have any problems there. But for some trial images, should probably think. But okay, I think it's fine for now. Let's just keep it TF operator, like TF NIST example in the Kubeflow TF operator repository. But later on, I think we can discuss about it if we have any problems.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the next thing that I want to discuss about the maintaining manifest, and I don't know if Yanis, I think he's not here right now. Oh, Kamenos, are you here, right? So do you have any insights about the manifest? Because I want to discuss how we will release the 1.3 for at least for AutoML and training as well. I think if you're talking, you're mute. Let me just try to unmute you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yep.
The computer mic was muted. So as far as I also know, the idea is that everyone should have the manifest wherever they want into their repository, and after that, I'm not sure the process Yanis is going to follow there, but the Kubeflow manifest repo is going to periodically, I'm not sure with what frequency, copy the manifest from the directories that each working group will tell them that here is our manifest, and copy them back in a central place.
Okay, makes
but
sense.
I think Yanis might join in a couple of minutes, so if he does, let's ask him again.
Yep, I think we can discuss about it like in the end of the meeting. Okay, because I have like a couple of questions. How we release the how we release images, and and how we can actually keep the version of the Kubeflow and keep the version of the latest images under the same manifests folder. Yep. So we can discuss about it with him. It's fine. Yep. So another question I have, like, about the documentation for the flags. So basically under
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I also have questions about the manifests. Will the manifest things be done before the next release, or will we maintain the manifest for every sub projects like Ktip or TF operator in 1.3?
I think from my understanding, like, all of the manifests will be stored under upstream repository, so in TF operator, PyTorch operator, or Kdip. And later on, we will have a process to automatically copy them to Kubeflow-manifest repo. So this process, I think it's not ready yet, but all of the upstream manifests should store under the components repository.
Okay. Do we have a timeline for it? Will it be done
I think right now, all of the repositories, they have their own manifest. So I think Yanis created all the PRs and it's already merged. Yep. So I believe right now we just need to keep up to date the image versioning and think about, like, again, how we can maintain two different versions of the image. For example, how to maintain like version for standalone component and maintain the version of Kubeflow like 1.something component. Yep,
okay.
I think we can discuss about it with Yanis. I don't know.
He just joined,
Oh, okay.
So we can either do it at the end of the meeting or now.
Yeah, it makes sense. So Yanis, are you here?
Hi, Andre. Yes.
Yep. Hi. Yeah, we have like a couple of questions to you regarding to manifests, regarding to training and AutoML. So the main question is how we will keep. So from my understanding, just let me know if I'm wrong. That right now all of the manifests stores under the component repository. So basically, for TF operator, for Kdip, for PyTorch operator, we store all the manifests in customized format under the Kubeflow/component repo. That's right.
Under the upstream application repo, exactly.
Okay, makes sense. So my question is, like, how we will maintain two versions of images. One like version of image which should be part of the Kubeflow 1.3, and one version of image which should be the latest that can be deployed under the just standalone component.
So the way that we're going to do that is that Kubeflow manifest is going to pull a specific revision of your Git tree. So for example, you'll say that you'll have a version, right? That you want to put in Kubeflow manifest. So manifest will put that specific version.
Okay.
And it won't change. If you make changes to your master tree, then it's all good. If you want to have for example, two customizations or multiple that install different images. For example, one installs latest and the other installs a specific version. Then that's also something that you can do. Does this make sense? I'm trying to...
Yeah, so basically how you will take the specific version based on the tag or based on the what? On overlay?
So for example, one thing that you could do is that I'm not familiar with the Ktip release process. Do you simply you cut a new release branch? Do you place a tag?
Yeah, so right now we just simply manually release the branch and create the new tag for the release and release the images.
A release branch and a release tag, right?
Yes.
Okay. So does it make sense, like, to in the release branch that you have to either add an overlay?
Yeah, I also was thinking with the same way, like, can we have like overlay, because I think KF sorting follows the same way, like, can we have overlay for the Kubeflow one and the overlay for the like Kdip standalone or TF operator standalone, And in the Kubeflow one, we can put the image version of Kubeflow 1.3, like, and in the future 1.4, 1.5, and in the standalone, we will keep the latest version every time. So in that case, like for Kubeflow, we can take, for the Kubeflow release, we can take like overlay for specifically Kubeflow. And for the latest, we can just release the latest version of the images. What do you think about it?
Does it make more sense to you that way? I would expect that for a specific release, the Katib version is locked. So if a user installs the standalone version or the version with the changes, that there are no breaking changes essentially. Otherwise, if the user installs from manifest, how would they know what to look at essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I got the point. In that case, we should somehow maintain it like under the repositories, because the best way of doing this is creating the branches. And I don't know, is it possible to maintaining right now, like when we just simply cut the tag for the release? I don't know. So.
So if a procedure that I can think of is for cut the release branch, edit the images in the manifest, for example, in the overlays that you will give to the user, and there include the image for the release, which would, I don't know, have either the branch name or the tag name. I've seen both. I've seen both in the past. For example, I think Istio has the branch name, while other software locks on the tag name to be completely mutable. So yeah, so essentially step one is cut the release branch. Step two is to make the changes to the images to point to a specific tag, for example. Step three, tag the commit as that tag that you have put in the image.
Makes sense. And when you're talking about like point manifest to the specific branch, are you talking about the manifest under kubeflow/manifest repo?
So for this manifest, under kubeflow/manifest, there will be a folder called apps/katib.
Yep, I know.
Stream, and it will have everything that you have under your release branch there. Everything related to manifest, just copy paste, nothing else, and we want and there won't be any changes from manifest there at all. It will be just you know, discoverable for users as a catalog.
Okay, so our process just release the branch, and I mean, we can keep, I believe in that process, we can keep the version of the image the same for standalone and the Kubeflow mode, because we will cut the branch and we will use this branch to deploy Kubeflow 1.3 after we release the whole like Kubeflow, right? So we don't need to have like two different overlays.
I would say to cement our understanding. Let's actually have let's actually discuss in the Slack, for example.
Yeah, sure. We can decide, but yeah, because I think later on we should probably have the standalone process for the all application, but I think we can that's can be done after the release, so it's fine. Just, I mean, I will just let guys know about our decision after that. Yep. So I think we can skip this part. So this we'll discuss later about the flags, because right now the documentation is a bit outdated, like from the controller part. But I think it's not a big of a deal. Regarding to KDPI, we're making the great progress, Kamenos. Thank you. So what do you think? Because like I think from our point of view, like from the lead's point of view, the KDPI probably is not ready for 1.3. I agree with that.
Yeah, and if I finish now, I'll also tell you what I think. Let me not interrupt.
Yep, sure. Oh, I think you're muted.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear
you. Right now, the existing merged code is not 100. First of all, it's not 100% on par with the existing UI, because two important things: it doesn't allow you to edit the config maps, and at the same time, the form is not 100% functional. So these are the main blockers of saying that, hey, we can completely replace the new UI. But what I've been thinking is that I almost have the PR ready for finishing the form, and so the UI will be able to, a user will be able to completely submit new experiments from the new UI.
Yep.
So the only missing functionality is handling config maps. What I would propose, but give me your feedback on this as well, is could we somehow, first of all, use the version we have right now, the current UI, both in the manifests and for the release? We say that, okay, this we stick to the old UI, but somehow promote and give a heads up. This is what I want to discuss, how we should do it. That, hey, we're also working at this UI. Here is an image tag that you can just replace in the existing manifest to try it out. It's not yet ready, production ready, so don't expect, it might have some bugs, but give us your feedback about it. So do you think we can,
I definitely agree with you. We can go like two different ways. The first way, we can definitely push the image of the new UI to our repo, our Docker Hub repo, and create the overlay for this new UI. Yep, and the second one, just we can create the instructions in the documentation, so how user can update the UI. So I think it's up to us how we can handle it.
Okay, yeah, this can work. So essentially, the only change in the manifest is the image, the
Actually,
UI.
yes, it's just the image. So other things should be the same because we use the same backend for the UI. So just we can create the overlay, or maybe we can just create the.
Yeah, I don't have a preference on this, whatever you like, but just also, give a heads up that don't expect too much from it. It's still under progress, but take a look at as well if you like.
Okay, makes sense. Do you have any other questions to us right now regarding to this implementation?
I just was thinking of is, and the new UI will have will also be able to work both in standalone and in Kubeflow mode. And the reason I believe we can do this really easily is that the only thing that blocks us is to just have if the UI is in standalone mode, to have a namespace selector. And this can be really easily done. So I believe that by providing even this very basic functionality, then the app is also can work both standalone and in Kubeflow. But I'll comment in the issue more about these are the detailed steps that we need to make, and etc.
Yep, sure, because I think we still don't have the final decision how we will handle the options, like how can a user navigate to trial template configs and to like KDB configs later on. So, I mean, we can discuss about it in the issue. It's not a problem.
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions regarding to the UI, like our current work? Okay, I think we can move forward. Yep, and just the last item that I want to discuss regarding to AutoML, just the roadmap for 2021. From my side, I think first step should be the new UI integration. So other things maybe you want to highlight here, what you want to see in KDB, what you're missing right now in KDB. Just we really want to hear like your real use cases from the end user if you're using like KDB internally in the company. What are currently missing and what you want to see in the new releases?
I can communicate with our internal customers and give you some feedback, maybe in Slack, maybe next week, I think. Yeah.
Could we also have an issue for this so people can add some comments and discussions about what they would like?
Sure, we will create it and just put in there. Yep, because I think from my side, definitely, I mean, I will create an issue and just point all of my thoughts there, but I think versioning should be one of the important feature that we don't have right now, and just try to update the version of CRD, because CRD is still on beta 1 release, and we probably soon will migrate to V1, and also this process should be automatically, so we don't need to have like two separate controllers. But I think we can discuss about it like in the issue. It's not a problem. Like if right now anyone has any like comment that you want to post in the meeting right now, just please let me know.
I have only one very short question about the versioning, and it's that right now the experiment CR, we have the same custom resource for both hyperparameter tuning and NAS.
Yep.
So if we go to V1 but to version 1, this means that we won't be able to further extend the API. So if in the future we might need to add a new AutoML process like NAS, then isn't this going to block us from adding this functionality to the existing experiment CR? So yeah, this is the situation.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. So we still don't have an answer how we will manage like all of the AutoML features in the KDIP. We had discussion before that probably we should have two separate like CRDs for each AutoML feature, like for feature engineering or for NAS for HP tuning. But I think it will be better we have separate experiments, but the problem is how we'll like name all of these experiments, and it will be easier for the user. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that before the V1, we should discuss like how we will maintain different aspects of AutoML in KDIP.
Okay.
Yep, sure. And yeah, I think because HP tuning right now it's like almost ready for V1. I think only the issue that we have like probably we don't have distributions, not distributions like the different sort of like extend the parameters part, but other things like early stopping is included and resume experiment is included. So other things regarding to API is ready for the V1. I mean, I think we can discuss about it later. We don't need to do it right now, and we can give like a couple of weeks to discuss for roadmap 2021 and just move forward. Okay, do you have any other questions to AutoML right now, or we can go ahead to training? Okay, great. So first of all, thank you for joining for about the training work. And I think Lucas Zhang, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Do you want to talk about like your proposal? Do you want to share your screen?
Sure.
Okay. Nope. I think I just need to stop it. You can try to share your screen. Yep.
Could you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so very nice to join this meeting. And I would like to briefly talk about this proposal for supporting elastic hardware in the MPI operator. And many of us are quite familiar with distributed training, so I would just keep the minimal effort to brief what is elastic training is, which we can consider as an enhancement to the distributed training. It generally refers to a distributed training task that is able to dynamically change its participants, whether you call it a worker or actor or any other terms. So the benefits and the benefits can be seen from the documentation from elastic hardware. So I'll just skip this section. And hardware address this issue by elastic hardware. And this new feature has been successfully tested on the Ray clusters as they promoted, and they received the positive critics. So we won't spend much time on the mechanism on how elastic hardware works, but because this proposal is to support the elastic hardware on MPI operator. And the contemporary design of MPI operator of version V1 lacks 3 modifications to support elastic hardware. The major gap between the contemporary design
is a discover host script. According to the design from the Elastic Harvard, this script will be executed routinely and to inform the Harvard driver that what hosts are available. So apparently, right now, the MPI operator does not offer such a script to the launch paths. In our proposal, so we translate the list of all running worker pods owned by an MPI job into such a discover hosted script and synchronize the script to the launcher paths through the config map, as you can see here. Just like how the controller does with the host file. The other two changes are even smaller. And the one is to delete the worker pods when the replicas number is scaled down. And the other is to update the rules in the row when new pods are created as the replicas numbers are scaled up. We do consider as alternative ideas. And one is to using the kube control already existing in the launcher paths to list all the paths. And the other is to install a pod lister to the launcher paths. The first alternative idea may pose a potential threat to the API server, since we have no control on how frequently the Elastic Harvard will execute the discover host script if the script is executed too frequently. So there might be some issue with the API server. The second idea did address the concern about the API server. However, keeping two processes living within one container may cause even more issues. Like what if the pod list dies while the Elastic Harvard process is still running? So we believe using the pod list already exists in the controller and synchronize the result to the launcher pods is the best solution so far we can see. The delay caused by the config map and synchronization on the one hand can be tricked by the controller administrators. On the other hand, it can be considered as a tiny period of time compared to the training elapsed time, or even compared to the time Elastic Harvard spends on handling worker status change. We have tested this idea and briefly tested this idea and see Elastic Harvard is able to perform on a modified MPI controller. There's still several merge pending, and we hope this new feature can benefit MPI users in various ways, whether it is to tolerate node failure or to cut the cost for distributed training using the spot or preemptible instance, or to improve the cluster resources generalization. So this is so much for this proposal. And any questions?
Thank you so much for this proposal. I think it's great. One question I have, so what is the main difference will be like from the current controller implementation? So if you look into your design, if you scroll down, so currently MPI operator are able to run Horowitz examples, but I believe they don't have this config map, right? So what will be the main difference between the current controller implementation?
Mm-hmm. So the main difference is the config map will add an additional data entry, which is the discover host. It will map it to under the etc. MPI directory. And other modifications are quite small. Like one is to delete the paths I checked the V1 controller and see it can increase the parts when the replicas number are scaled up, but cannot delete. So one thing is to delete the worker parts when the replicas number is smaller than the currently created parts counts. And the other is we need also to update the, the rules in the row binded to the launcher path, because without the execution permission, the launcher pod cannot launch the process on the newly created parts.
In that case, for launcher pod, you should add the RBAC, because I'm not sure that currently RBAC is access, like the launcher pod is able. I think it's probably able. So you just need to extend the RBAC, right, for the launcher.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Any other questions? I think it's great, like, because Terry, I think, is leading the MPI work. I'm not sure, like, Johan is here right now. Because we need to actually coordinate with him. He's a leader of MPI operator currently, and we need to make sure that this will not break the current functionality of the controller. Any other question to Lucas regarding to this proposal?
Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep, sure.
I'm Yang. I'm from Alibaba Cloud. I have some questions about this. So my first question is, why we want to add elastic training to MPI operator? The reason, as you know, now we support elastic Harvard, but we also have elastic PyTorch and elastic TensorFlow. Many elastic framework. So my question is, if it will be mislead the user, MPI operator have elastic Harvard for other elastic framework, how to choose? Do I express my idea? Yeah.
Yes, I got your, I got your question. So the major reason we add the elastic Harvard to choose MPI operator is because most users use MPI operator to launch Harvard distributed training tasks on Kubernetes. So like it's a tradition to do so. So when using PyTorch Elastic, people would prefer by tradition to use PyTorch operator. So that's one reason we add as a Elastic feature to the MPI operator. And for MPI, for the Elastic TensorFlow, I'm not quite familiar with that feature. Could you further elaborate?
So as you know, we have developed Elastic training framework for I think the most difference between the Elastic Harvard and the other implementation is the cluster spec, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it a good? I just have a suggestion that if we can provide a single Elastic training operator to handle all of this framework, it's just a suggestion. It will make the end user to understand it better why, oh, if we want to do elastic training, we have an elastic training operator.
Yeah. I think it's different design choices between the AT operator and the elastic forward in MPI operator. As you know, PyTorch elastic project also introduces a new operator. Its name is PyTorch elastic job operator, I think. And I think we do not come to agreement that if we should introduce or elastic training of frameworks to one CRD, for example, to Alibaba's elastic job, or we should keep different frameworks in different operators, like we keep elastic TensorFlow in TF operator, and we keep PyTorch elastic features in PyTorch operator. Maybe we can discuss it further in Slack or other IM, and I think it does not affect user experience, because, as you know, many end users, they do not use CRD directly. Maybe we will have some upper level framework or library for them to use the abilities in Kubeflow. For example, maybe we have Kubeflow pipelines or some other upper level libraries for it. So maybe we can discuss it further about the user experience, and if we should keep all the elastic training frameworks in one CRD or operator. Yeah.
Can we collaborate with PyTorch Elastic Operator to support it in Kubeflow? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we already have such an issue in PyTorch Elastic repository, and they also want to integrate the Elastic training capability in PyTorch operator. But it seems that we do not have such we do not have the bandwidth to support the feature before, and maybe we can check the progress there. And their people are working on moving Elastic merging into the PyTorch upstream, and I'm not sure if they have done it. If the Elastic capability is merged into PyTorch, maybe we can see if we can support it in PyTorch operator. I think, however, the Elastic is just an entry point to let us have the opportunity to try how Elastic can work with Kubernetes, and maybe in the future we can support more other Elastic frameworks or features in different frameworks. Yeah.
Okay,
what do you think, Andrew?
Yes, so I agree with you. So is it correct issue? Let me just put it in the doc. So I agree that probably all of the elastic training part should be part of the specific operator. The question is like, what about like functionality of the controller, like of the TF operator controller and PyTorch operator controller? Is it possible to support everything? Because I know that before that we had a discussion that probably we will have the one operator for each training, like one controller for each training, and have a different CRDs, right? But this is probably another story, right? Because right now I don't think we have bandwidth to actually merge all of the controllers, all of the operators to one controller. But I definitely agree. So is it the correct issue that I put in the doc? Let me just share my screen.
Yeah, I added it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need some more discussion to see whether it's a right way to extend the MPI operator to support the elastic training. to most people understanding, the MPI protocol is static topology pattern, right? It's kind of a static pattern protocol. That's one point maybe leading the understanding for this operator. And the other thing is even for the whole world elastic API, it's not based on MPI protocol anymore. It's based on the glue protocol. So if we support the elastic whole world API for this MPI operator, but actually the implementation doesn't have any relationship with MPI protocol, indeed. So that maybe give more misunderstanding for this operator. So that's my 2 cents of concerns.
Lucas, can you explain more about it?
Yes, so the Elastic whole world does use glue as a backend, but if we check the MPI operator proposal, which is under Kubeflow community, we can see this operator is aimed to support the MPI-like distributed training instead of support the MPI general MPI jobs like fluid computation. So we can further discuss whether there is a better approach to put forward a new operators to support all kinds of elastic work. But so far, we just add a tiny modification and enhancement to the MPI operator, which I think is quite compatible with the user experience so far.
Yeah, I think it's
go ahead. So I think it's not just any modification to this operator. If we really want to support the elastic training, well, even we just support elastic whole world API. There are so many works need to be done beyond the current proposal. We not, because the elastic training is not just a scale out, it's also scale in, and also it's not just the scaling in plan, but also to do the fault tolerance. And even for the discover host script, how to give a common logic to comparable for different environments to discover their host change is also a question. So that, and also even for the config map mechanism, it still have some problem because the launch port will not be aware when the config map changed. I mean, the content in the config map changed. You need some other roles to do some kind of synchronization, right? There are a lot of things need to do. So in the end of the day, the change is not a tiny one, because why we see that details, because we have tried to support such kind of elastic training in our elastic training operator. So all those things need to be considered when we really want to put it in the production. So that's some background for this.
Yeah, I think it makes sense actually. If we, from my understanding, all of the elastic training, if they have the same structure, probably we can have the unique design to support them in different operators. But I think that can be like the next step. So probably we need to have some feedback from Yuan as well. So I would recommend to just take a look at this proposal. And if you have any comments there, you can just review and put it here, and we can discuss further what exactly should we do, at least for MPI operator. And for other training operators, I definitely agree that this is the good way that we will support all of the elastic training there. but I think we need a separate proposal for this. What do you think?
Okay,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas and so I have just a curious. Do you have any meet any client requirement to use such kind of elect training in the real world? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, we have some internal customers who want to use elastic training, who want to adopt elastic training in their internal clusters, but maybe we cannot expose the information about the customers because of some secret information, I think. Yeah.
So
but
they,
what we can, yeah.
Sorry. So do they based on?
Yeah, please.
So do they use the elastic whole world, or they have their own homemade elastic training framework?
There are some different customers. For example, in Fee's scenario, these training jobs are mainly based on PS Worker, and they may have their own internal implementation about the parameter server architecture or some other training frameworks. And there are also some other users who is using data parallel training jobs to run their machine learning workloads. And as for these users, they may want to use a MPI operator to run their elastic training workloads. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone use the elastic whole world?
We do not have the information about if the users use it in production, but there are some users want to try it. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, I think we can continue discussion about it. Yep, go ahead, Gauch.
Yeah, no, yeah.
No, I mean, I just want to.
No, nothing from my side.
Okay,
yeah.
I just want to have some time on your latest issue, and if you have any question regarding to Elastic, I think probably we can correct the top level issue to all operators and discuss about it there. So, and also get a feedback from other training leads. Probably they're not in the this time zone.
Okay.
Okay, and we can might discuss how we can merge all of the if it's from my understanding, if it's real use case for the and if customers use it, we definitely should have it in upstream, and this is the cool feature that we should support in all of the operators. Yep.
Yeah, maybe we can discuss it offline or in the Slack after the meeting. Yeah.
Yep.
So
sure.
maybe we can.
Sure. And
mobile,
and we can create an issue as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead with your Vulkan integration?
Yeah. We are working on better Volcano integration. Maybe in next week, because there are some internal or external users who want to adopt Volcano's advanced features such like queue or other priority class, this kinds of features. So we want to support them in Kubeflow Common, and maybe in next week I will communicate with Volcano members about it. We will have a design proposal in the community and try to push it to Kubeflow Common and use it in TF operator. Yeah.
Can you tell what is the advantages of using this integration in the common?
Yeah, for example, if there are high priority and low priority jobs in the same cluster, Volcano supports priority scheduling for distributed training jobs, and users want to some users want to support it in TF job. So maybe we need to add some new fields in common, and such as queue and priority class, and we can allow you fields allow users to specify which queue will be used in the TF job, and they can add it to the pod group or other CRDs to leverage the Volcano's feature in TF job. Yeah.
Makes sense. And does it like another CRD which just handle all of this scheduling, like to use the to control the resources for TF operator?
Maybe not CRD. We can we will add some new fields in Kubeflow common, and and we will maybe have some new logic about the lifecycle management of pod group. After that, we can support these kinds of advanced features in Volcano. Yeah.
Yep, makes sense. I think it will be reasonable for all operators, and yep, makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's common features. Yeah.
Sure. Any questions regarding to supporting the scheduling? Okay, makes sense. Also, like I want to tell it, all of our operators right now, like supporting these common libraries. I think we need to make sure that all of the operators relates to the latest version of common, because right now we have some problems with PyTorch operator because it's recently we changed the structure of common library. So it will be great if we can update the operators to rely on the latest version of common. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And do we have any plans to what we want to bring from training point of view to Kubeflow 1.3? What we want to highlight?
Mainly some bug fixes. I think there is no huge features in this release. Yeah.
Okay. It will be great if you can just give me some like feedback what exactly we fixed, and I can just let the community know like what are the current training work, because we have like a lot of requests what currently like training working group is doing, and probably we should have the roadmap. I don't know, like roadmap for all operators or roadmap for each operator. So this is again like from my point of view, we should probably merge all of the operators to one controller and handle the different CRDs. That will be easier to maintain, like from resources point of view. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Jiaxing is working on it recently, and maybe in the next community meeting we can invite him to introduce the design. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think right now, go ahead.
I think it's a long-term work, so maybe we cannot do it in this release. Yeah.
Yep, sure, I agree. Because right now the biggest problem is like the lack of resources regarding to training. I know like there are some work there, but in general, we should probably have the automate process to make sure that to make the community know that currently we're doing some work in training as well. And I don't know, maybe preparing like the blog post or some sort of the release updates. By the way, like for Kubeflow 1.3, do we prepare something like a blog post? Because I know that
we want to have such a blog post, but we do not have it. Maybe we can. Maybe I will working on it next week. but I'm not sure if
yeah, the question is like, do we have something to present right now, or do we need to focus on the next release and maybe present the new features for the next release in the next blog post?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure about it too. Yep.
It makes sense. Also, like regarding to the blog post, I just want to let you know that we created the blog post for KDIP. Let me just put the link here. So if you're interested in the new features in AutoML, please give us like your feedback about this blog post. Yep. And thank you, Lucas, for the presentation, by the way. And any questions regarding to training AutoML before we can finish the meeting? Anything that you want to ask? Going once. Okay. I think we will keep probably, let me just stop recording. Second.